If an adult came up to your child and started teaching your child about rimming, anal sex, scissoring in a cute, friendly way and teaching them how to do it, would you not be concerned?
Of course, that's ridiculous. But here's the thing,
But
right?
what's the difference between that and a book telling it to them in a kid-friendly way? I don't get that.
I haven't read the whole book, right? So I don't even have an opinion on whether this book is good or bad. What I do have a strong opinion on, though, is parental rights. Parents should be the ones that decide whether or not material is suitable for their children.
I agree with you on parental rights, but I think this takes away parental rights because this goes past the parent.
How do you know? Well, this book is directed at parents, though. Like,
No,
it's
well,
not.
no, it is not. You haven't read it. Read it. It is targeting kids.
Well, it's meant to be read by children, but parents are the ones that are meant.
The topic I wanted to bring up first, David, was just something that's been in the news, I guess, last 2 weeks. And this is around a particular book. I think it's called Welcome to Sex by Yumi Steins and Dr. Melissa Kang. Look, there's a lot of controversy in the public square about this, and a lot of politicians had different views as well. Last week, we had a guest on, Senator Ralph Babet, and he had very strong views about the book.
I just like how polite you are walking into this. Listen. He called you out. You called him out. We want to set the record straight.
I'll show what David wrote. I'll bring that up on the screen.
Let's bring it up.
Beware the book burners and their censorious hangers-on who think that their opinion on books should decide what is and isn't available for parents. They are spitting in the face of parental rights. Parents decide what is appropriate for their children, not the government, not activists, and certainly not Senator Babet.
So in fairness, he's not actually saying they should ban the book or stop parents from having access to the book.
Didn't he say it should be wrapped in plastic?
Wrapped in plastic, so for adults to be able to grab it.
So who should decide whether it's wrapped in plastic?
I think the wrapped in plastic is
Maybe
saying...
it's ACMA.
No, but what he's saying is we should treat it like any pornography.
Is it pornography?
I think it is. I've looked at it. It's pretty pornographic.
You really think it's pornography?
I actually think it's worse. I'll tell you why I think it's worse. With pornography, when kids look at pornography, all kids, they look at it, they're on the internet, but they know that it's adult content and they know that it's not something we should be doing. They're being naughty. Now, this book is presented as child-friendly. It's created for children, designed for children, and it
was being sold in the parents section, though, in the parenting section at Big
But
W.
it's going in libraries in the kids section. It's being targeted.
Is it?
It was in libraries. I saw people on it. There were videos of people going into libraries and then the library kicked the guy out for showing that the book is in the kids section in the library. Of course, if it's a book aged to 12-year-olds, it's going to be in the kids section. But it doesn't matter. The point is that I'm happy if you say it's going just to parents and then parents can decide to give it to their children. Every parent has the right to be a bad parent. I have no problem with that.
All right, let's say we wrap it in plastic, right?
You're caught up on the wrap on plastic.
Well,
I think it's the idea of making it.
But if you're taking it away from parents to be like, how do you know?
Take it away from kids, not parents. Take it away from kids. Can we take it away from kids and give it to the parents to decide?
My understanding is that this book was written in response to kids being exposed to pornography because do you know what the average age of kids being exposed to pornography is in Australia? It's
young,
like 12 years old.
I know
it's
that.
bad, right? And so a lot of parents are in this situation where like it or not, they've been inadvertently exposed to pornography, and then parents have to put that in context. Now, it's really hard for parents to do this sort of thing, and sometimes they need tools to help them explain some of these things that kids may have been exposed to. Now, whether or not this book is a good tool to do that, like I said, I haven't read it, but I want parents to be able to have the opportunity to find whatever tools that they feel are valuable and helpful in providing context for these things that kids might have been inadvertently exposed to and helping them as a tool to educate their children.
I think the left often creates problems to set their agenda, to push their agenda forward. They say, we have this problem, here I found a solution. And how convenient that their solution is so disgusting and vile and just fits their worldview perfectly.
I've referred to this book as almost like a children's Kama Sutra in terms of the way that it depicts and shows how you can do certain things. And I don't know if that's necessarily educational in value, even for parents as a tool to tell kids like, hey, this is how you do this pleasurable sex act. I don't know if we as a society are at this state now where we have to teach children. The best that we can do as a society in Australia, in the West, is to teach children how to have sex in certain particular ways. Because if you go out of the West and you go into other countries like, in South Asia or something, I'm telling you, they're not teaching kids how to rim each other. Like, that's not the standard. That's the truth.
That's what they're doing in this book.
And the kids in the West, they're being taught all this stuff about, rimming and how to have anal sex and all this kind of stuff. And we think that's progressive.
If you're, putting it away with the porn, as you're saying, what parent is going to go over there and look for stuff that's appropriate?
A parent that is looking for help to deal with these issues. It's a parent that's you're saying is struggling with these issues is going to then source that material. That's the exact person. I want them to have to source it because you're saying they're the ones that are having this problem. I just don't want it to be there for every kid to just pass around, especially because it's instructional.
But is that really what's happening? I mean, we've had this
Come
situation
on, you
now.
were a kid once.
Well, we've had this situation now where there's been this hysteria from conservatives about this book that they don't like, right? And they've managed to turn the book into a bestseller. Like, totally counterproductive.
Yeah, but it's activists.
Totally counterproductive.
No, it isn't. It isn't, because at the end of the day, who's making it a bestseller? It's activists that are buying it in support of. Who cares?
But
it's not going to the kids that are just stuck there at school that without their. And again, I'm saying that if those activists want to give it to their kids, then fine, that's their deal. But I'm just saying, just don't put it straight in the kids' hand. And if you're saying that you don't think it's going straight in the kids' hands, let's make that official. We have rating systems for freaking movies. The government's job is there to protect those that can't protect themselves and to protect the parents' right. More importantly, the right to parents to decide. So I can take my kids to an M-rated movie, but that they come with me. They can't just walk in there. Same thing as this book. That's all I'm asking.
But as a member of parliament, I not only have to think about this book, I have to think about every book. Right, and that's what I'm worried about.
But there are classifications already. You're saying that we have classifications.
I think.
Do you want to get rid of all classifications?
Well, I think that classifications can happen with or without government. I don't think it necessarily needs government to do that. But
whatever.
What I'm concerned about is that, all right, let's say a whole bunch of conservatives get hysterical about this particular book. What happens when a group of people get hysterical about another book that you might like?
But again, I'm not saying ban the book.
I think it's time to move on.
We've got to move on. But
I read in the comments, some people like just move on.
Do you think classifications is important or not? Do we need classifications?
Yeah, and I don't necessarily think the government needs to classify.
Okay, but not government. Yeah. But whoever's classifying books, this needs to fall under that. That's it. That's all I'm saying. From now on, we are committing to 7 p.m. on Thursday nights. You can catch up on all the episodes at theopposition.show. I feel like we're getting better each week. Maybe it's just the caliber of our guests.
It must be.
It's improving every week.
Who are we going to get next week?
I don't know.
Let us know who you think we should get. Well, I want to get some people we disagree on everything. You see, with David, it was just one issue. I was trying to pick more issues I can disagree with him on. But it's just a book. David, do you commit to reading the book this week?
Yeah.
I don't want to buy it. Why do you want to give him money?
You can maybe ask Senator Babette and get.
I'll borrow it from Babette.
Get
the library of Babette.
But Babette's put like all sorts of like notes and stuff on it.
Yeah, I saw people making fun of him for it. They're like, he's way too.
He's helped their sales.
I reckon you can look online. I reckon you can read it online.
Probably can.
Will you read it so we can continue this conversation?
A lot of people are telling you to read it.
It's the one thing
Your
that
homework.
I disagree with you, but it's unfair because you haven't actually read it.
I'm surprised you're not asking me to read your book.
I'm expecting you to read the book.
All right, guys. And with that, we're going to wrap up. Let's not talk about Avi's books. Thanks again, everyone.
Rebelfromthestart.com. See you next week,
See you
7
next week,
p.m.
guys. Thank you
Thanks
so much.
for being with us tonight.